Good morning and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be fitting the booster plug to my Yamaha XV950, also known as the Yamaha Bolt. Purchased this from Motorworks in the UK, ordered it 3 days ago, delivered it yesterday, so pretty good delivery. Total cost for it is £133, and this is going to be the installation video, and hopefully this will prevent some of the popping that the bike makes and also improve some of the performance. So let's get it on. So before we fit it, let's have a quick look at the booster plug. So there it is, 2 connecting ends and then the box on the top. And what you also get is an installation card, and it states on there that if you go onto their website and look at the download section, it gives you the information of where the actual plug fits on your bike. I've done that, and there is literally a drop down for all the bikes that the booster plugs supplied for, and it gives you good pictures of where the actual plug has to go. Okay, so quite standard, quite straightforward. So as I said, let's get it fitted. So as I said about going onto their website, after being on their website, and it shows you where the pictures are of where the actual plug goes. So I'm going to try and show you, but I've got the light on the floor and I need the light. I'm going to try and make sure I don't get too many shadows, but the actual plug itself goes up into there, underneath this top part of where the forks are and your header set is. That is just where my finger is where the plug's going to go in there. It sits in there. So their instructions say that you need to undo that there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen that one off as well, so that drops this bracket down. It makes it easier for you to get into there. Now that is an H6 or size 6 Allen key, and what I'm also going to do, and it states on there that you can take the headlight off, or you don't have to take the headlight off, but what I'm going to do is undo that bolt there, which is a 10mm, undo that bolt there, which is a 10mm, and then that should bring the headlight forward, because it'll still be connected by the wires, and that'll just give me a little bit more room to be able to get in there, because it is a little bit tight with all the wiring to be able to get up into that one. That one's a little easier, but I don't want to scratch any of the back of the headlight as I'm doing it, so I'm going to drop that back just to make it easier for myself. So the first thing I'm going to do then is undo these bolts here for the headlamp. And you don't actually have to undo the other side because it's not connected to it, but that's the actual existing switch there that we've taken out. So now all we need to do is plug the other one in. So then all you do is, that's the existing clip, and that's the switch, and this is the new booster plug. That one clips into there, and that one is going to clip onto there on the bike. So effectively that's it on there now, so it's going to work. All I've got to do now is fit this all back in there and find somewhere to be able to zip tie that in there out of the way, so obviously it's not going to get in the way of the handlebars turning or the headlight going back in. So I'll have a look at that as I go. So headlights back on, those are done up nice and tight, that's done up nice and tight. The main plug for the booster plug pieces there. The connection is connected up into there where the original one was, and the other one's tucked up and underneath there as well, so they're both out of the way and basically back up in where they were before. This is the additional bit that sat there quite nicely. It's not going to cause any problems there. Got a zip tie. And what I tend to do is put the zip tie around here. This cable is for my clutch cable. I've got some additional covering on there because my camera sits there and I don't want it rubbing that cable, so that fits around there quite nicely. I'll pull the zip tie in there because it says that this piece here shouldn't be close to any warm parts of the bike, basically down by your engine or in front of a radiator or behind a radiator if you've got one. So up there it's away from any sort of like heat source. I know the light could get warm, but it's generally away from most heat sources, and there it's getting the air to it as well. So that's up there. Slip that off, and that's it, done. So a quick recap then of the tools that I've used. Size 6 Allen key, bit in a socket, 10mm socket, 10mm spanner, and then the scissors just for cutting the zip tie. Now don't forget, the reason why I've used the 10mm socket was to undo the bolts for the headlight, but I actually put that back together and done that back up with the headlight back in position and managed to get in there with the Allen key and do it up as tight as it needs to be. So you don't actually need to undo that, but I did find that it was a little bit easier to get in there with that dropped forward and loose. So it's up to you, so you might not need to do that, so you might just need the Allen key, but that's it, done. Right folks, well that's the booster plug fitted to the bike. It took me 10 minutes if that, with some very basic tools, so not a hard job to do. What I'm now going to do is get changed and take the bike up the road and see if there's some difference.